Excuse me. Welcome back. This is Teresa with project number 5 from our Sweet Symmetry set, the tutorial bundle. Here are the supplies you need for this one. The sample I made was made with Calypso Coral, and I'm going to show you the project today. I'm going to make it out of just jade. It coordinates with the same papers. Choose whichever you prefer. Go ahead and gather these supplies, and I'm going to show you as we assemble it all the different parts that we need. And so let's get to our next project. All right, let's start with the Just Jade cardstock. This is 8.5 by 8.5, and I am going to show you how to go ahead and score this, which is a big part of this project. So we will go ahead and score this all the way around, and I don't have this on the actual project supply sheet because it kind of helps. This is one of the main things that I wanted you to be able to see because it's kind of harder to explain. So let's start off with our 8.5 by 8.5 Just Jade or Calypso Coral, whatever you're using, and let's score all 4 sides all the way around. And so let's just put this on the 2-inch mark all the way around and give it a score. Okay. Now let me back up a little bit so you can see better. All right, and the final side for the 2 inches is there. All right. The next thing you can do is either use your ruler or your scoring tool, or however you prefer to do it. And we are going to find the center of each of these edges. And I'm going to just use a pencil and put a little tick mark on each center point on each side. So here you can see it's 8.5, and I'm going to put just a little mark at 4 1/4. And once again, you can do this with your scoring blade if you'd rather, and that should work as well. All right, 4 1/4 is the center. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to score from center point to center point. You're going to be putting those points right by the track of your scoring cutter here. If you have a scoreboard, you can do the same thing. Just use one of the tracks to kind of line it up, and you're going to give that a score, midpoint to midpoint. So tick mark to tick mark, basically. Hope you can see that. I'm going to just see if I can just show it. Oh, my beautiful fingers. So we're going to line up these tick marks in with the track. I think I'm way too close. Yeah, so these tick marks are right on the track, okay? I just wanted you to maybe be able to see that, but you can even use a ruler and a scoring tool and just use it that way and just make a score mark from tick mark to tick mark on all 4 sides. All right, let's do that one. I think we have one left. Center to center. All right, next what you're going to do is, hopefully it looks pretty close, and you probably can't catch that very well, can you? It just goes all 4 sides, like tic-tac-toe board almost, and then like a diamond in the center. The only other thing left now is we are going to take where these corners, each corner has a square in it now, and you're going to put a mark where those score lines, well, you don't have to put a mark. I'm just putting a mark so you can see what I'm talking about. That's where those lines intersect by that corner part. And you're going to score on each corner from that point where the score mark goes to the edge, and this part where it goes to the edge, so that all 4 corners are going to have like a square, but then you're going to go ahead and cut that little square in half. So you can just line it up without putting the tick mark, but if it's easier, you can always do that as well. Put that little mark on it and then just erase it when you're done. These are just going to be some corner flaps that we'll be decorating. And I believe we got one more here. And believe it or not, that's all you have to do for scoring for this one. I don't know if you can see it very well. I'll try to show you a little better. Kind of some of those marks. And once we're going around and scoring on these marks, you'll be able to see it as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's fold and burnish all of those lines. And we can erase those little tick marks. We don't need that on there anymore. And we don't need the corner or the center point ones either. Okay. All right. Again, back to the burnishing and folding here. Goodness. Trying to get me right in the camera in the center here, guys. I get just like going along and I don't even notice that it's not even right in the center of the camera anymore. So sorry about that. I sometimes forget that I'm even videotaping things because I'm just getting into it too much. All right, one more. And then we'll wait and we can do these corner parts. Well, I guess it won't hurt. We can do those right away too. And it doesn't really matter which way you're folding yet. I just fold these tabs back and all the rest I had done that other direction. We're going to be manipulating that a little bit here in a bit when we're actually doing the constructing and folding it together. So we just want to make sure all of those lines have some kind of a score, or all those score lines are kind of creased, and we'll be changing that as we go. All right, so now we have that piece ready. We're going to need a square of the basic white that is 4 by 4. And then two different sizes of, two different sizes and two different patterns of the DSP. This is the one I'm using. It has that kind of a polished pink on the back, but we're going to use, we have actually 3 squares we need. One of them is 4 inches square, and then we want 2 of them that are 4 1/4 inches. And there's a little kind of a weirdness with this because normally you would only need, you wouldn't need this much, but I'm going to show you, I'm really kind of being fussy about the direction of the pattern. So you will see what I mean. What we're going to do is cut down this one to be like this because we want it going the right direction on our project. So this was one pattern of DSP. With 3 different squares that you needed. And then we have another one that is going to decorate the corners, and you can use any of them in the kit or in the set of paper. I just chose to use this one, and these are 2 inches square, so you need 2 of those. We'll be cutting them down. You need a piece for a belly band. I used the bumblebee, and this one is 1 inch by 7 or by 1 by 9 1/2. You don't need to score it or anything. That'll be for the belly band, and then you'll also need a 3 inch-ish, whatever size you have that's kind of close, or whatever you want to use. This is vellum. I used a 3 inch circle cut from the Layering Circles dies, and from that same die set I cut out 2 of the Calypso Coral circles. And these are 2 1/4 inch each in diameter with the scalloped edge. So we need that and that. And then I just used some scraps, and I used the punch that comes with the kit. And I did several different colors of sprigs, I guess I'll call them. So I have 1, 2, am I missing one of my yellows? Yeah, there might be one more yellow in here somewhere. But just have a variety to be able to decorate wherever you want those. I don't want to lose them. I'm also using 5 of the those jewels that are listed on the supplies, and we're using our In Symmetry stamp set. And this stamp set today, we're just going to be using this larger kind of a flower type of image, and I'll be stamping that. Mine's a little stained because I've used it so much. And then I'm using Best Day and Ever for the sentiments again on this one. I think that's about it that we're going to need. So what we can do now is let's just do our, let's stamp our inner piece. And this one, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and I stamped in the bottom right corner of each of the sides. So I am going to get my cushion that I need to have underneath. If I'm using photopolymer and you like to have some kind of a foam cushion underneath of it, you can get a better image that way. And I'm just going to use each of my colors once for this. Okay, so we have Night of Navy, Just Jade, Calypso Coral, and Bumblebee. You can use, if you maybe you don't have all 4, you can use 2 colors, or mix it up and match it to just do however you want on that. So we want to get a nice image here, and we're going to stamp it in the bottom right corner. Probably it'd be a good idea to use a Stamparatus. Ugh, getting ink on my fingers already. But I'm going to try it without and see how it does. If I don't like it, then we can always do it on the other side. So I am just going to stamp this. I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch from each edge. Give it a press, let it soak in a little bit, and then turn it. And I'm going to have my chamois handy so I don't transfer color or get it off my fingers. Okay, there's one. And next I'll do the Calypso Coral. Not that it matters. Nice amount of ink on there. I got a little carried away. Don't have this setting down nice and flat, so that wasn't a good idea. All right, make sure it's inked, and then try that same thing again, 1/8 of an inch in and up. Give it a little press. I'm not pushing hard. If I press too hard, that little bit of ink that's on this block is going to transfer. I don't want that to happen. I have enough trouble with ink getting where it doesn't belong. Clean that off. I'm going to set this aside. Let's see what other I might need. Maybe we'll use a different color for the actual sentiment, but I'm going to take a minute to kind of decide that. Next, I'll do the Just Jade flower in the corner, and we have our Night of Navy left. Those are both left to do yet. So let's do the Just Jade. Try to get it similar to the others. Clean it off. And our Night of Navy. All right. Okay. I love this image. It's just so kind of bold and bright and kind of cheery, I think. All right, so for sentiments, which color do I want to use? I'll just use the Just Jade there. any of them would work. They would all coordinate, obviously. So I'm going to pull in, I'm going to be stamping Best Day around the outside, and then this Ever goes on the inside portion here. So I'm just going to be stamping Ever in the center here. Okay. Yay, that turned out pretty good. And next one I'll be using is Best Day. So I can go ahead and just put this on here and it'll be ready when we want it. Since I'm doing stamping, I like to stamp all my areas right away if I can, because then I don't need to worry about re-inking, reopening, you know, all that. And as a matter of fact, yeah, I think this will be okay. So this image is going to be getting stamped in this right by our corner piece, this little triangle right here. So I want to orient it in that way. Okay. Okay, it's going to go like so. Okay, Best Day. All right, one more. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll move those out of the way then. Close up these guys. And let's pretty much assemble now. We're going to adhere on various pieces. I'm going to start with this one in the center. And this will determine then which way the rest of the pieces go on, like which way is the right way, you know, straight, and which way is not, so that we don't have other things upside down. So I just want to get this in the center here. It's got a roughly 1/4 of an inch or so of a border. And I want to give it a better press on the back here, get it nice and adhered down. And since I'm back here, I might as well put one of our DSP pieces on there. The smaller square that was 4 inches is going to go in the center on the back. Oops. And again, you want to like flip it over, make sure like if this is the way I read it, then I want to kind of have it go in that same direction on the back. Okay, now we can go ahead and let's get some of our squares, our decorative DSP put on there. And so we need, so pull out the 4 1/4 inch square one, and this one is a little different as far as how it gets cut, because I want this triangle right here to be going the right direction. If I just cut the corner, then they're tilted sideways, and while that might be fine, I didn't really want it that way. I kind of wanted the pattern to go upright as compared to the rest of the project. So I want an up and down here and the side to side here. So this is the top, and I already messed up this one, I bet. Yeah, maybe like this. Yeah, that's right. So here is one that goes up. I'm going to need one that is going down here and then to the side. So how you do that is first, I'm pulling out get whatever trimmer. You can get your regular trimmer as well. I'm going to cut it in half, and so since this is 4 1/4, I'm going to go 2 1/8, and I'm going to cut it in half. Okay. Then I'm on the back, I'm going to mark our midpoint, where the point is, the top will be. So this one is going to go actually on the bottom, and so I want to mark the middle of the bottom at 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 2 1/8, and I am going to be trimming from here to here, so that when we flip this over, this is going to look right on the bottom. I hope that makes sense. So on the back side, I kind of have an idea. I know where this middle point is. I'm going to cut off this lower piece that I'm not going to need, and I'm lining it up there, and then here's that same point, and then I'm putting the point, the center point, along with the corner point. Okay, so that when I flip this over, it's going to go on our project going the right direction. Now this one on the side is facing that way, but that's okay. And then this one on this side is going to face this way. So I know that I want to find the middle point and go here roughly, and here roughly, okay? So same thing, find that midpoint at 2 1/8. Okay, and then trim from that midpoint to the corner. And if you have a designer series paper that doesn't have a direction, like if you're using maybe an all over pattern like this, you won't, well, it's kind of, I guess this is directional in the back. But if we have some different patterns that you would rather use that doesn't have a direction to it, just so that it's easier, you can substitute it out, and then you wouldn't have to really worry about the direction of it. All right, so that is that. Oops, I might as well trim off these little corner ones. So we have these 2-inch squares of the other pattern, and we are going to have these be our corner points. So if I cut this one from here to here, I'm just putting the corner right there where it gets cut. Okay, then these direction, they have a direction as well. They are going to go in this corner and in this corner. So now when I cut my other piece, I'm going to cut it the opposite direction. I'm going to cut it this corner to this corner, so that it'll go here and down here. Okay, opposites. Otherwise, if you don't cut it the right, if you don't really pay attention to that, then they'll be going different directions, and you want it like that. So I'm going to go this corner to this corner. And give that a cut. And you can see why I thought it'd be a little tough to explain this on paper. It's like hard enough to show it, right? So that kind of tells us where we want to put things. So we can go ahead and adhere these onto the spots where they go now. I don't think I need this anymore. Okay, here's one corner. And these I didn't really put a border around. I'm just leaving them to take up the whole space. If you'd rather go about, like 1 7/8 inch squares to leave a little border, you can do that as well. Whichever way you prefer, whatever look you prefer. Okay, corner to corner there. Lower left. And lower right. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to do the same with these points, these other squares that we cut out. Just want to make sure we're putting them in the same spot that we had originally kind of engineered them to go, so that they're not going the wrong way. And since we did all that work, right? Okay, so this just goes in this little triangle area. Gotta make sure I'm getting it in the right place, because this looks like I did it a little wonky. And I don't want that to stick down there. I'm going to go a little closer to where I'm working so I can see it better. So this corner goes here. And it looks like it wasn't exactly on. So hopefully that'll work. That's not the same, is it? Make sure I got them going the right way. Now one of them, it doesn't look quite right. See if I can maybe get that figured out better. I suppose I won't be able to get this up. Alright, so if your scoring gets off at all, then you may have to kind of move it around a little bit to get it to look quite right. Okay, so for this goes, now the hardest part is we're going to be having to fold this up a little bit. I think I would maybe use liquid glue if I did this one again. And this, like I said, this was not perfect, apparently. So you can either leave it flapped like this or trim it off, but I am going to, after we get it all assembled, I'm going to go back and use liquid glue on these flaps or anything that's sticking up and not adhering down well. So now what we need to do, I want to kind of show you how it gets folded so that you can imagine how this works. You're going to want to go in with these center points, and you want to make sure these corners are really nice and burnished really well there and really well there, so that you can bring these corners in and it comes to a point. Okay, kind of have to coax it, I guess you'd say. This one is not doing that great. Since the scoring wasn't really as good as I'd like it to be, it's a little bit tougher to get this one to cooperate. But we will coax it. Okay, and this will be up like so. Okay, all right, so that's that corner. After a little bit of coaxing, as they say. Do the same thing. Let's go to the opposite side this time. So I want to bring these corners up. And you just kind of got to go back in where this part goes in, and just kind of give it a little extra creasing. And just kind of get that point to lay down nice. Just kind of having to bring that in a little bit more. Okay. I think the ones I've made in the past weren't quite this fussy. But I don't know. Just, I guess it's better. I was tempted to like start over, but then I thought, well, what if that happens to you? And you can, you know, kind of know what to maybe try to do. So I'm just folding those corners in, trying to make it a kind of a point down here. I don't know if you can see that very well. And we're bringing this together. So, if you're more careful than I was on your scoring and cutting of your paper to the exact size, it will go a lot smoother than this one currently. And let's see, this one maybe is left. And right now it looks a little rough. It'll get there though. And last corner. Okay, we're almost there. This one's taking a little longer. Being stubborn, but we will persevere. Okay. Phew. My goodness. All right, we're getting there. Okay. Here's our back, and here is our front. And whoa! Look at that, would ya? Isn't that amazing? I love opening that up. It's like a blooming flower or something. And like I was telling you earlier, it'll look a lot better once this gets adhered down better. I just should use liquid glue on that. And that's a good lesson or good tip, I guess. Use liquid glue, and that will help it to, it'll save a step. Then I wouldn't have to go back in and do this again and, you know, get everything tidied up. But, okay, so now we're going to do the belly band piece. And let's bring in our piece of these and our belly band, our vellum. And let's see, what did I use on that? Trying to find my image. I said, oh yeah, best day ever, and then I did thanks so much, and I just stamped that on one of these. And so let's find that thanks so much stamp. I forgot about that when I was stamping earlier. So we're going to use thanks so much, and we're going to use, what color ink do we want to use? I'm going to go ahead and use just jade again, so since that's what we used on the inside. And we're going to stamp away. Alrighty, there we are. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp some You could also punch it if you'd rather. Punch out some of those sprigs on there. Or you can stamp them because the stamp set does have these. So whichever you prefer. These are a little different though than the punch, but of course they all coordinate together really well. So it would go like that, I guess. Okay, now the color just looks dark. You can't really tell that it's just jade, so you can kind of keep that part in mind. But I think I will go ahead and stamp this. And I'm going to bring that pad back in. And I'm going to get my stamping block. And I think I'll use, I don't know, you can use any of them. Just jade is what I use there, but I'd like to use something different. So I'm going to try, I don't know how it'll look, but I'll just use the Calypso Coral. On the sample I made, I had used something different, and I just like to switch it up a little bit. So there is 2 of them on here. I think I could happen to get them in the right place on the first try. I don't know. Alright, so you could just stamp them one at a time, or you can get gutsy and put them on there and hope that you get them back down in the same spot. So let's try it. Okay. And what's the worst that can happen? You'd have 3 other surfaces you could try it on if you don't like it the first time, and nobody would ever know. Okay, so let's try to get this in the right spot. Yay. Okay, good enough. And now our belly band goes all the way around, and I don't have you score that ahead of time because each one might turn out a little differently, and so it's nice just to make it for that individual piece or card. So we're going to have it come together in the center like so. Let's get this side down, get a nice crease in the middle. Try to get it to come together nice and straight. I want to make sure the back is a nice, flat, even, straight piece. And what I think I'm going to do, just to hold it into place while I'm getting everything put together, I'm going to grab a piece of Scotch tape because this will be covered up. And I am going to adhere this little band together. You want it tight enough that it's going to hold everything, but not so tight that it buckles and you can't get it off. You don't want that, because you need to be able to slide it on and off. So I'm mangling my paper, which I am going to come back and glue that down better. So I kind of put this on the back just to give it a little more structure, and then we can put the vellum in the middle of the 2 sandwiched like so. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some adhesive just down the center of this one, and that'll go on the inside. Try to get it in the middle-ish, and we'll do some of the vellum, trying to make it a semi-even border all the way around, and we'll go a little bit more here, and that hides everything else. Just want it to be straight. Okay, I think that works. Belly band. Now this is a thicker project, so it's not going to necessarily be a nice crisp fold when you're making it. So go back and kind of burnish that down just so that it'll look a little bit neater. And then we are going to need to decorate a little more. What do we have? This is our belly band, so we're going to put on some of the gems, jewels, and then we can glue down some of these sprigs here and there. Make sure I got them all. Nope. Okay, so you can just put them wherever you want. I put a lot of them like on some of these empty areas that don't have anything. Oh, that's going to be bugging me, all this section, all the sections where they're sticking up. So I am going to tack that down a little bit while I'm seeing it because it's bugging me. So let's ooze that one down. I'll get all these edges down and it's going to look a lot better. So note to self, use liquid adhesive on this project. Alright, and try not to get it all over. So I'm going to adhere these flaps on the inside too. Press that down. And the liquid glue here does take a couple seconds to grab. I just don't want to, if there's any that leaks out, you don't want that to adhere your project down like that, so just kind of being careful. And I can go back and if there's anything that did ooze out, then I'm going to want to, I will want to take that off because it bugs me. I don't want that to show. It's just kind of one of my pet peeves, I guess, is little glue schmearlops, for lack of a better term. All right. We're getting there. Neat and tidying up a little bit, I guess. It's getting there. This is a little bit more of an involved project, wouldn't you say? It's cool though. It's one of those that's, yes, it is a little putsy, but it is has quite the wow factor. So if you're making something for somebody, some special card or whatever, this is kind of a fun wow one. Probably wouldn't want to do this for Christmas cards, right? At least I wouldn't. It'd be too much work. Take forever, but it'd be cool. All right, I think we're getting there on that part. I was gonna put these other guys down just wherever. There are 2, 4, 6, 8 little triangles that you can decorate if you want to. You could also do more decorating on the back if you'd like. It just depends on how much you want to put into it. You could do every surface, I guess, but I'm not quite that ambitious. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on this guy. And where do I want this one? Go like so. And need to use little teeny dots of it. Less to clean up that way, I guess. Okay. And I'll just go around. Maybe I'll just do opposites for now. You get the idea. You can do as many as you want. This is going to kind of just melt into the background, but it still will be able to be seen. Little teeny dots. And this is super strong, even though you'd think, it's not like Elmer's glue that we all used in school. This is a lot stronger than that. So I do have a few shiny spots I see that I'm going to go back in and clean up some of that glue. I'm going to add a few more sprigs, but that is the basic idea of it, getting this project put together, and decide where you want some of the little bling pieces to go. Definitely I want a couple on the belly band here, like that. Oops. And then wherever else. So there's 3. This is obviously too thick to mail, so this is going to be one of those that you probably just give to someone. You can just give it to them the way it is too if you'd like, or you may want to, let's get it going the right way here. Or you might want to make your own envelope. I believe it is roughly, ends up being approximately 4 1/4 square. But you do need a little extra due to the thickness of it. There's a lot of bulk in there. So when you're folding, you have a lot of thickness. All right, one more. Where should I put this guy? I am going to put it at the bottom of the exclamation point. How's that? Okay. So obviously, best day ever, all the way around here. Winkostella is another good thing to add. Put this together one last time. And the more you do it, the more it just kind of knows what to do, and it'll start going into place a little better. And go like that. The hardest part is always getting this guy on. So you have to be, especially at first, and when people, if they aren't careful too, they need to just take their time with it, and you just got to kind of coax it, because it can catch on things. So you don't want this piece getting rammed into something. So you just got to sneak it in, and then these corners need to go under that, and then it'll hold it all together really well. Boy, this one, it's looking a little beat up, I tell ya. I don't know. I gotta just use liquid glue and you won't have all these issues. And careful when you're scoring. Okay, there we are. I don't like some creases that are in there. I'll get it all neat and tidy. All right, well, this is what I want to say to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this makes sense. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions. I hope you like it. All right, we'll look forward to seeing you at Project